The laws of martyrdom unfortunately became extremely relevant during the time of the Holocaust. Yes, there are specific sins for which law dictates better to die than to violate. They are ultimates of our faith. In Hebrew, as you saw in the text, they are called the Gimel Yehoreg V'al Ya'avor. The three, better to die than to transgress. People asked questions of rabbis during that horrible time period. There are books that have always moved me in terms of Shelot Uchuvot, questions and responses during that era, where people wanted to know what they had to do from a religious perspective. They would ask rabbis, and they would very often do what they were commanded to do by law. And quite often it was the option of death. Yes, Benjamin.
With these laws of martyrdom and things that you can't do, even if it, the things you have to sacrifice your life for, that means people in the Holocaust had to give up their lives for these certain things?
That's such a fascinating question, because at first glance the answer would be, yes, that's the law. That's what we're talking about. That's what's discussed in the book, and this goes back to biblical sources. There are times when it is preferable to choose death over life. But I'm so glad you asked that question, because there was a remarkable answer given by a number of Gedolim, of spiritual giants during the time of the Holocaust. A daring decision which took note of a new reality that I have to share with you. There were a number of sages who said, what we have to understand is what the goal of those who seek to destroy us is. If they want to destroy us spiritually, and that was the case in many times throughout our history, then we must stand firm and say, we will not allow you to do that to us. We will abide by our religious principles. We will die rather than violate. But in the time of the Holocaust, there was a different goal. The goal was not simply to destroy the Jewish people spiritually. The goal was, the intent was, the purpose was to destroy the Jewish people, that there not be a remnant. If they wanted to see to it that we do not remain alive, not a one, the phrase that we use with regard to the Purim experience, the genocide number 1 from Haman, if they wanted to eliminate every single Jew, then the mitzvah of the Jew became what? Their lives, to remain alive. Then there is a new mitzvah for the Jewish people. We have got to respond to the nature of the threat. It is so fascinating that we always have recognized there are two distinct types of threats. You know the two holidays, Hanukkah and Purim? On Hanukkah, there was an attempt to destroy us spiritually, which is why, since we survived spiritually, we light candles. Candles are a symbol of the soul. The soul survived longer than it should have. The oil lasted longer than it should. The soul praises God. But on Purim, when they sought to destroy us physically, then we rejoice by having a meal. We rejoice because our bodies rejoice. We're still here. We can still eat and drink. The method of observance takes cognizance of the different threat. It would be interesting for further discussion to try to analyze the nature of various threats throughout our history, including modern times. What was the intent of Russia with regard to the Jews? They wanted to destroy us. Yes, that's correct, but they wanted to destroy us spiritually. What was the intent of the Arabs? They want to destroy us, as they say, to destroy us physically. One would have to analyze every situation and see what the motivation is And what an amazing and daring concept in the time of the Holocaust that a number of sages expressed. Our mission is to live, and martyrdom is a principle and a religious imperative in terms of maintaining our spiritual status of purity. When that is the goal of our enemies, to destroy us spiritually, if they don't want us to live, then our mitzvah is to continue to live. The psak, the decision for this generation and for this time is, we must live. You want us to die? No, Am Yisrael Chai, we will survive.
Rabbi Blech, I'd just like to share something with you that I heard from my mother, who is a survivor, and she told me how in the camps they tried to treat the Jews and all the other inmates in the camps as animals, and she said one of the things they're trying to do is make them act as animals. And she told me many times that they refused to act as animals. They shared food with each other. She told me an instance once where her uncle, seeing her on the other side of the fence, threw his last piece of bread to her just to be able to see that she got enough food, which tells you how not only did the Jews manage to survive as physical beings, but also as spiritual beings.
And now it confirms precisely the point in a magnificent way. Then our responsibility was to do precisely the opposite of what they wanted to impose upon us. You will be animals. If that was their statement, then our response must be, we will not be animals. We will be human, fully human. Exactly. A perfect illustration. In that last chapter that you had read, concerning the name Yisrael as opposed to Yaakov, I just wanted to make one final observation that I think is powerful and significant for us today. Yaakov is the Jew who was on the run. Yaakov, from the word heel, he always fled, didn't confront the situation but ran from it. Yisrael means fighter for God. Today, we have the land of Israel. It is called Yisrael, and Yisrael acknowledges a new vision and a new understanding of our destiny. Yisrael means the Jew who acknowledges that there is a time when we must fight for what we believe in. It is true that as Jews, we would hope that we wouldn't have to fight. Koheles, Ecclesiastes, said it well. There's a time for peace and a time for war. The man of peace is Yaakov. The man who fights is Yisrael. I know that we speak of the God of our fathers, the God of Abram, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, and that Yaakov, Jacob, is the way in which we would like to be forever and ever. But in a world of reality, which contains those who seek to destroy us, there are times when we have to be Yisrael. This is one of those times. We need to be Israel, fighters for our beliefs, in order to protect our survival, so that the time may come when we can be Yaakov, who is designated in the Torah as Ish Tam Yoshev Aholim, the man of the tents, the man of wholeness and perfection, who is able to sit and study Torah. That's the ideal. There is reality and there is ideal. Reality is Yisrael. Ideal is Yaakov.